You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday, happy Mercury Day, and happy birthday to some very famous Aries. Vincent van Gogh was born today. Hello, Aries energy. Definitely put himself out there in a lot of different ways. Maybe he was a little impulsive. Isn't he the artist who cut off his ear? Anyway, Celine Dion also has a birthday today. Big Aries energy for sure. Eric Clapton, Pierce Morgan. Also, Robbie Coltrane, aka Hagrid, has a birthday today. If you're a Harry Potter fan, I mean, you have to love Hagrid, right? Nora Jones, Tracy Chapman with the Aries energy. Richard Sherman, definitely some big Aries energy. MC Hammer. Wow, Warren Beatty, probably got that wrong. Thomas Rhett. Mark Consuelos has a birthday today. And I would like to point out that Kelly Ripa, his wife, is a Libra, proving that opposites do attract. And they've been together forever. Lots and lots of famous birthdays today. Those are just the most prominent people who stuck out to me. But if you have a birthday, if you know someone who has a birthday today, let me know so we can give them a shout out. Good morning, Michael. Do you look at some people and know what it is they're going through? If you're asking if I have like psychic abilities like that, no, not necessarily. I can't just like look at someone and know what they're going through. However, sometimes I can sense if someone is like being affected by the energy a little bit more intensely, especially if I know their major placements. And I don't know, sometimes I can kind of like read people's, I don't want to say signs, but like tell what kind of energy they're really working in or they have a lot of in their chart. But sadly, no, I am not a psychic. Maybe one day, maybe I'll tune those abilities someday. Good morning, Bailey. So glad to be here. And we have a lot of abundant energy we're working with this morning. We know Peters is coming. 410. 410, Peters. Oh, what does that mean? So cryptic. Give me more. Okay, so today we're talking all about the Pisces moon. And I am definitely feeling the energy of the Pisces moon. But more importantly, we're talking about two conjunctions the Pisces moon will make today. The first happening right now. So let's get into it. Let's dive right in under this Pisces moon. So the moon is at 20 degrees right now. You'll notice what else is at 20 degrees? Jupiter. So we are experiencing a moon-Jupiter conjunction right now. Exact about 9-10 a.m. So literally what we're feeling in this very moment as we're streaming live. But if you're finding this video after the fact, early this morning, you might have felt that burst of energy or optimism. We can thank Jupiter for that. Oh, okay, sorry, I have to sidetrack. Back to Family Guy. If you guys didn't see our episode yesterday, we had a full-blown debate. You have to remind me on April 10th that it's Peter's birthday because I will not remember looking at the famous birthdays. I'm sure Google will not bring up Peter's birthday. I won't take over the show today, but from Family Guy, that is hilarious. That poll is still live on Julian's Twitter account too. And so far, more people than expected are saying it's not weird to think Lois is hot. So that's all I'll say about that. If you want to weigh in, go to my Instagram, go to Julian's Twitter. Here it is. If you want to vote, that's his handle on Twitter. Anyway, let's talk about this Moon-Jupiter conjunction. Back to astrology. So, when the moon is conjunct Jupiter, it is a very optimistic, just abundant vibe in general. And Jupiter is very comfortable. It's at home in Pisces. It's its traditional ruler. And the moon likes to be in Pisces as well. So this gives us very hopeful energy. And we can lean into the power of belief this morning fairly easily. The moon and Jupiter being together is just bringing more generosity, more willingness to be outgoing, to put ourselves out there, to share. We believe in ourselves and others more easily with this Moon-Jupiter conjunction we're experiencing right now. So if you're feeling the good vibes, yes, there is a reason for it. And that's not the only conjunction that will be happening today. I also want to, before we move on to the next transit, talk about what's going on with this Pisces moon in general. So this is a waning crescent moon in Pisces. Tomorrow night we have the new moon in Aries, and the Pisces moon makes its final connections today. So today really feels like that final day of the moon cycle of this chapter. And when we talk about a waning crescent moon, it's a time of surrender, of letting go, of release, of introspection. It really asks us to slow down and heal and just be, so we can kind of settle into this energy before we experience the new moon. Especially this new moon in Aries tomorrow brings a whole new energy level, a whole new chapter. Really, it's like a brand new opportunity with the new moon in Aries, especially being the first moon of this new astrological year. Now, also because this waning crescent moon today is in Pisces, it's furthering the assignment of rest, of closure, of healing. Pisces rules the 12th house of ending. So this is really the day to let it go. This is really the day to close that chapter. And I'll just speak from my own experience. I don't know how you guys are feeling. Let me know in the comments. But last night with the moon in Pisces, it was like my body took over. Like I fell asleep at 7 p.m. and I thought okay, I'll just kind of rest for a second, rest my eyes for a moment. We all have those moments. And then I woke up at 10 p.m. and I was like, okay, I guess I'm just going to keep sleeping. So I slept really deeply last night. I slept for a really long time. My body was like, okay, you need to rest. It's like my mind wanted to keep going, had this whole long to-do list, but my body was like, nope, the moon's in Pisces. It's the last day before the new moon. So I really invite you to listen to whatever signals your body is sending you and give yourself that space to rest. Even this morning, coming on a little bit later here with you live today because I just had to take it a little bit slower this morning. That is until we have that Moon-Jupiter conjunction start to pick up the energy. And now we are feeling it, but definitely feeling that closure, ending, release energy of the moon in Pisces. And I'm curious as well if anybody had any strong dreams or memorable dreams or messages come through, because the Pisces moon can bring through messages in our sleep state. And I ask because not really myself, I didn't have any strong dreams, but my partner never dreams. He never remembers his dreams. And this morning he woke up and he's like, whoa, I had a dream. I'll just tell you, he had a dream that he walked outside our front door and there were 2 bodies there. There had been a murder. And I was like, oh yeah, those have been there for days. No big deal. So of course, I'm like, what does it mean if you see a body in your dream or there's a murder in your dream? And the dream meanings that kept coming up were closure, something that's been buried down deep, needing to finally die or be released, chapters ending, things like that. Very on par with the Pisces moon. So I'm curious. Yeah, and Michelle too, same sleep cycle and weird dreams. So sometimes, especially when we're tracking the moon's movements, that can be really helpful in interpreting your dreams too, because of course, looking at what's going on in your waking life, what's your subconscious trying to tell you, but especially with this final day of the moon cycle, asking us to close chapters, asking us to release, definitely pay attention to that when you're trying to interpret your dreams, if you do remember them when you wake up. But everybody's probably feeling the good vibes this morning with that moon Jupiter conjunction. My best friend sent me a fun video this morning of her partner singing and being silly, and I was like, oh, he's feeling the good vibes of the moon Jupiter conjunction. It's just been a really positive morning, at least in my world so far. So we will take it. We'll take the good vibes. By this afternoon, 2 p.m., if you look at your chart here, the moon will form a conjunction to Neptune when it reaches 23 degrees. So again, that'll be about 2 p.m. Pacific time. And although it's another conjunction in Pisces, this conjunction carries a very different energy. When the moon is conjunct Neptune, our sensitivity is heightened in every way, emotionally, psychically. Don't be surprised if, especially if you're already an empath, if you can feel the emotions of other people or pick up on psychic messages around you. This all really depends on your baseline level of sensitivity, but expect it to be heightened by this afternoon. And this transit can also stimulate our imagination, very Piscean energy, being able to drift off into a fantasy, drift off into dreamland. You might be feeling that this afternoon, even in your waking life. So it's easier to fantasize and imagine and dream big, but at the same time, when the moon and Neptune meet up in Pisces, our rational mind, not the clearest. It definitely clouds our decision-making ability. So really not the best time to make decisions or try to find clarity, but rather lean into letting your mind wander and dream, maybe lean into an artistic pursuit, draw, write, dance, move through creativity, move your emotions through creativity. That can really be a great way of release and surrender under this waning crescent moon in Pisces. And later tonight could bring some clarity or shifts. I'll talk about that in just one moment. But by the middle of the day, if you can avoid making big decisions, I would, just because we're more susceptible to deception, illusion when the moon and Neptune meet up. Can make it really beautiful for fantasy and imagination, but not necessarily for clarity and moving forward. And I would just say, before making any big decisions or setting any major intentions, just wait until tomorrow's new moon in Aries. We're going to have so much energy to work with for starting something new when the moon moves into Aries and meets up with the sun, that I would just allow today to be that day of just dreaming and flowing. I just hear flow through the day today, just almost like you're drifting on a little cloud under the Pisces moon. It's meeting up with Jupiter. It's like, yay, life is fun and happy this morning. And then when it meets up with Neptune, it's like, we'll just fantasize, we'll dream. But the last connection the Pisces moon makes before it moves into Aries is tonight at 11 p.m. So this could be overnight depending on where you live, but for us on the West Coast, it's 11 p.m. The moon gets support from Pluto. So late tonight, even early tomorrow morning, we could have a transformative moment. Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth. It symbolizes transformation. So it's also the most intense planet. We can expect emotions to be intensified, especially because we're more open, we're more sensitive. When Pluto comes into the mix and brings this support to the Pisces moon, our emotions can be intensified a little bit. Now, intensity doesn't always mean a bad thing. We're very sweet and compassionate and empathetic under the Pisces moon as well. So this can allow us to be vulnerable and to really go there. If we lean into that vulnerability, we could have a really beautiful transformative moment tonight. Just beware of trying to control or manipulate or force change, because Pluto can make us a little bit obsessive. So this transit is overall asking us to pull back the curtain, go deep, be vulnerable, investigate what's going on behind the scenes. What else needs to be let go of? What else do you need to surrender? What else do you need to leave in the past, close the door on, so you can open a new door under the Pisces, under the Aries new moon, I should say, tomorrow night. Also, as this waning moon is really seeking closure, endings, healing, subconscious beliefs could be surfacing when Pluto and the moon form this supportive angle. They could be revealed. And so we've been talking a lot about limiting beliefs, releasing limiting beliefs. This sextile between the moon and Pluto is asking us to let go of limiting beliefs, asking us to look into the shadows, see what's not serving us, and say, no, thank you. Okay, we don't need that anymore. So be open to transformation, lean into vulnerability. You could be surprised by a major shift that happens overnight. Oh, good. I'm glad this is resonating with you. So that's all we're talking about today, is that Pisces moon making these beautiful conjunctions to Jupiter and Neptune. Tomorrow we'll talk all about the new moon in Aries, what it means for you, how to use it based on your rising sign, and some of the background transits that we'll be leaning into through the weekend. We have, if you look on our chart, we have the Sun and Chiron meeting up in Aries over the weekend. And we also have Mercury coming into the mix over the weekend. So that's going to be playing out in the background of this new moon and furthering that healing. You know, Chiron is our deepest wounds, our ability to heal them. With Mercury in the mix, this new moon could bring some really healing, beautiful conversations. And it's also important to note that these planets are all very close to each other right now. So definitely helping us lean into vulnerability, lean into transformation, maybe shining light on our wounds already before this conjunction as these planets come together and revealing to us what we need to let go of, what we need to release. Sometimes wounds being provoked can actually be a gift, because a lot of times we're not really consciously aware of our wounds. We just kind of push them down, let them live there inside of us. But sometimes shining light on them is actually the opportunity to allow us to release them. So pay attention to what's coming up for you. All right, let's do a little overview of today. We have a quick little forecast today. I think it's the Moon-Jupiter conjunction. I'm like, like super fast getting through everything. But let's wrap this up, and then we will pull a card together. So today we have the Pisces moon asking us to release, to let go, and to heal ahead of tomorrow's new moon in Aries. And this waning moon in Pisces is meeting up with Jupiter this morning, bringing good vibes, making us feel more generous and abundant. Then the Pisces moon makes another conjunction to Neptune this afternoon, which allows us to lean into our sensitivities, our compassion, to imagine, to dream big. Not necessarily to make decisions, though. Wait on setting major intentions or finding clarity until the moon moves into Aries tomorrow. We'll have ample energy to move forward after that point. Now tonight, the moon and Pluto make a supportive angle to one another, asking us to get vulnerable, to go deep, to pull back the curtain and look into the shadows so we can transform, so we can release, so we can close that chapter and let go. Today is all about listening to your body, listening to those subtle messages that are coming through so you can heal and release, and you can have the opportunity to start anew under the new moon in Aries tomorrow. All right, let's pull a card. I'm going to pull from the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell. Anytime we have major Pisces energy, this deck is just screaming at me. I feel like even the colors feel very Pisces, and the concept of a starseed is very Pisces as well. So as I'm shuffling, this is your time to ask questions. Let me know how you're feeling. Bailey already knows the drill. She says, I have been feeling energetic this morning, but the anxiety side is saying, hey, slow down. Makes sense now. We're on the same page, Bailey. Totally. Even this morning, I told you guys I fell asleep super early last night. I had stuff I still wanted to get done. So I was like, okay, I'll wake up early and get it done. But I had that same feeling of like, okay, do it slowly, find a pace. People will be there. People will be waiting. It's okay. You know, sometimes you have major Virgo placements too, right, Bailey? Sometimes we're like, go, 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 do. We have to get it all done. And the Pisces moon opposes our sun in Virgo. So it's definitely reminding us that A, we don't have to do it all alone, highlighting our relationships, but also definitely opposite of our very productive, busy nature to slow down under this Pisces moon. And I am feeling the same call as you to just take it easy. It'll all get done exactly when it's supposed to. Just trust the timing of everything. So let's see what message wants to come through today. What do we need to know? I remember. Soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. I have never pulled this card before, you guys. I'm super excited. I remember. What message does it have for us? Here we go. There was a moment before you were born when you chose the conditions of the life you are living right now, when you plotted out these exact moments along the timeline of your life. We live in a world of free will, and therefore these moments become our destiny only through saying yes. The fated life is the one we were born into. The destiny life is the one our soul chooses, and it takes courage and faith. If you pull this card, it's because you're likely now face to face with the choice to follow your destiny life over the fated life. To trust the path your soul is calling you toward, and to remember that this moment was prearranged on your life's timeline. You may find yourself at a crossroads, at a moment when you're being called to make a decision, to keep walking the perfectly laid out path before you, or choose the one less traveled. You may be facing a change of career, a new relationship, a difficult decision, or something else that requires courage and faith. You're being invited to remember your soul's greater plan and to surrender to it. When you're confronted with a path that's undefined, it's normal for your doubt to rear its head. In fact, this is a certain sign that you're facing your soul's greater path. Every hero in his or her life journey comes eye to eye with doubt. The only way around it is through it. It's all part of a larger plan. What are you being called to do to surrender to your soul's plan? What are you being called to do to surrender to your soul's plan? This very much feels like the assignment of the moon forming that supportive angle to Pluto, right? Going within our shadows. It talked a lot about doubt, and Pluto can bring up doubt. That is a shadow, right? Doubting ourselves, doubting the plan. I think it's so beautiful when these cards match up with the forecast. They almost always do. And actually, the affirmation at the top of today's forecast is, I surrender to the divine. I surrender to the divine. Knowing that there is a plan that we've chosen for ourselves, trusting under the Pisces moon that we're on the right path, trusting ourselves to make the decisions, to have the courage to keep moving towards our purpose, towards what we know deep down to be true for us. So this card is your encouragement. Yeah, I love the destiny versus fate teaching. I used to teach Kundalini on a channel I call Destiny Stream. Ooh, I love that. You know, I've never really differentiated between destiny and fate. And I love that this card gives a lot of focus to free will, right? You know, it's not just a matter of walking this blind path that we've already created for ourselves. We do have to, like we talked about with that sextile between the moon and Pluto, lean into vulnerability, really get real with ourselves and ask, what do we truly want? Who do we really want to be? How do we really want to show up? And again, it takes bravery. It takes bravery to do that. Yes, we have so much Virgo. That's why we're always on the same page, Bailey. And that makes me so happy. We're here to receive this message today, Michelle. So be brave. Be willing to fully see yourself. You don't have to have it all figured out today. Surrender to divine timing. Surrender to a plan greater than maybe your rational understanding, and know that you have everything inside of you that you need to make your dreams a reality. Today's that day, though, to think of those dreams, align with those dreams, be with your dreams, be vulnerable, and figure out by the end of the day what's not supporting your dreams, really. The moon forming a conjunction to Neptune allows us to get a glimpse of the big picture of the wildest dreams only our imagination can really comprehend at this point, but those dreams can be a reality. And the moon's connection to Pluto is asking us, what do we need to do to get closer to that? What do we need to release or let go of to get closer to that? You have a beautiful day too. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. I think that's everything we have. We will be live tomorrow morning talking all about the new moon in Aries. And again, this is the first new moon of the new astrological year, so really a time to get some motivation under us, set those intentions. It's going to be a really powerful new moon for goal setting, for starting something. Just don't get ahead of yourself today. We can figure that out tomorrow and into the weekend. We have time to work with the new moon, okay? And we also had an amazing conversation yesterday on The Spiritual Journalist with the affirmation addict, Pyle Corley. You can find that on my YouTube channel or wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify or Apple. We talked all about the power of affirmations, the power of positivity, but also the importance, as we're talking about shadows and doubt today, of being real with yourself, right? So if you're needing a little bit of encouragement or direction under the new moon or ahead of the new moon, maybe you need a little bit of positivity to help you get into the right mindset. It was really a fun conversation. I want to go back and listen to it over and over again because I love everything she had to say. So that's there for you. If this video was helpful, got you in the right mindset to navigate the day ahead, go ahead and like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so we can monetize this channel, keep this content coming to you every single day for free. And one more time, our affirmation of the day: I surrender to the divine. I surrender to the divine. I hope you have a beautiful Wednesday ahead of you. I will see you right back here tomorrow morning to talk all about the new moon. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.